Yo, welcome back to Containing Luxury. On this episode, we're actually getting the glass installed on the house at the top of the hill. Let's get started. Okay, so my buddy from Florida actually drove all the glass up from the manufacturer down in, I think it's in Miami. I think we actually got a better deal, and it worked out because he wanted to come see some family anyway, that he just loaded it up directly from the manufacturer down there and drove it all the way up to us. Whew, it's a hike getting up that hill. Here's all the glass. We've got the doors back here, frames, and some of the pieces of glass that will go in with this wire. It's like a rubber bead that goes into the frame, and then the glass will go in. Daylight savings time is amazing because now it's nice and light and bright out at like 6:30, whereas last week it was like pitch black. So it's quite nice. So we're gonna get started on this. It's gonna be freaking awesome. What? Let's get started. Okay, so construction is pretty much always there's going to be something wrong. So, of course, the window frames that we all have, sorry about the sun there, the window frames are all custom built. We were trying to jump the gun to get the windows manufactured so that by the time that we were ready for them, they would actually be ready, because it would take like 6 weeks to get them done. Anyway, they got here and none of them fit on this entire 40-foot container guest house. So I wrote the dimensions for the fabricators, the welder guys, on the window, and I told them it needed to be 1/4 inch bigger for everything. And this is actually 3/4 of an inch. The bottom sill is 3/4 of an inch higher than it needed to be for the minimum opening. So I need to now go through and cut out all of this bottom. So, all right, I wish I had a longer Sawzall blade, but I don't, so I got to use what I got. But we'll see what happens. Oops. Yeah, that's not going to work very well. Yeah, so either way it sucks. Yeah, this sucks. Gotta love construction. So we've cut the angle iron off that was the bottom piece all along here. And then we realized that the top never got cleaned up, the cut either. So we figured, okay, it's probably less work just to do all the modifications to the bottom. So we're gonna cut this out completely flush all the way along here. Then we're gonna put in a piece of 2x4, the same that we have on this is actually 2 inches by 4 inches. We're gonna put that, because we have a bunch of it left over here, across the entire bottom. It gives us something better to screw into. Going forward, learn from my mistake, build your entire frame out of the 2x4. I think it's the best way to do it. I was gonna use angle before, but with how these things attach, I don't think so. I think I gotta make them all out of 2x4 and just make sure that this cut's nice and tight. Whoa. It's hard to point. That cut's nice and tight where they weld together. But learn from our mistakes, because this is a costly one. This is a lot of time, money, welding. Now it's got to be repainted. I mean, you're talking probably a couple $1,000 mistake. Sucks, but well, we're going to go through and fix it because we got no choice. The other thing we ran into, which is an even bigger deal, is the front door doesn't fit on the main house. They, again, didn't take into consideration, they were missing the 3 inches of concrete that was going in there. So the door frame is 3 inches shorter than it needs to be. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to actually have the entire door remade, and I'll just use that on a different build, I guess, somewhere. But it's like a $1,500 issue. Don't make that mistake.
This town's so lame, I'm feeling so wired. It's 4 a.m., I'm not even tired. We're in your car, we can drive away. Oh yeah, we're almost there. I'm loving this feeling of something new. Just right.
Okay, so we're officially into a nice 12-hour day. We pretty much had to do modifications to every single window. This is a problem if you're not doing a lot of the work yourself and you can verify everything. So I was actually gone and left very strict measurements for all the window cutouts and the sizes that they need to be. So, and I left them a little bit big, like a 1/4 inch big, bigger than they needed to be. So we'd have plenty of room for play for the windows to go in, because modifying the aluminum frames is a ton of work. So sure enough, none of them fit. None of the ones that I was gone for. All the ones I was able to verify and place the order when the frames were done, those were fine, except for the manufacturer actually ended up cutting one and making it an entire inch taller than it was supposed to be. So luckily we were able to take the entire frame apart and rip down the top and the bottom piece and then chop the side pieces and the centerpiece to make the window fit. And it barely fit. And that was the maximum we could take off of the frame without amending the little slot that the glass goes inside of. So that was a nightmare. But you know, this is where the difference between like a mechanic and somebody who can just install something. You know, like you gotta know how it's built so you can make modifications. So it was this entire frame, which of course is built of 2 windows and this mullion in the middle. So every piece, all 3 of the vertical pieces need to be chopped down, and then the tops of 2 separate windows, so 4 bottom pieces, all needed to be ripped through the table saw exactly the same. And then the screws actually screw the vertical pieces into the bottom. So it was a ton of work, and everything had to line up perfect so that the glass would still fit. So we were able to do that, get it all fixed, and these windows went in no problem. I'm kind of coming up with I should have used a new container, even though I chopped it all apart. I hate seeing all these dents, so it's kind of driving me insane. But these storefront glass windows and doors are freaking amazing. It looks so nice. So we're getting a lot done, but this is day 2. The first day we literally couldn't install any. We had to cut apart all the metal frames on the entire guest house and lower them and then re-weld them together. I mean, tons of work because they weren't even close. None of them dimensions. And then on top of it, we still had to modify almost every frame. So we're trying to get the last one in. They've had to grind this one down too. And we actually had to chop that one down as well. So this is the last frame. One door, we actually even had to completely just reorder the whole thing because it wouldn't even come close and there was too much work. We couldn't make it happen. So this is where you want to just verify everything, or if you have the opportunity, get all of your windows and doors cut, get all of your frames completely in and verify all your measurements, and then order your glass. In our case, we were trying to jump the gun. It takes 6 to 8 weeks to manufacture the glass. So we were placing orders on dimensions that we didn't have set in stone, or in metal in this case. But normally that's fine. We can go ahead and do that. And then we verify our measurements as we're welding everything together. In this case, I didn't have a site supervisor here. I wasn't personally here. I gave the dimensions and literally went and marked them out and wrote exactly what the sizes were supposed to be. And I trusted that it was done that way. So when I got back, I didn't even have a chance to verify. Glass got delivered. We go to install them, and every single one is completely off, like not even close. So we've made it work, but this is a mistake you don't want to make. So if you can, get all of your windows, like I said, get everything welded in place, all your frames in place, and then order your glass and get your tight measurements and subtract a 1/4 inch off of height and width, so you have an 1/8 inch gap to play with if something's not square or whatever adjustments you need to make. But don't make the same mistake we did and jump the gun and not be the welder yourself, because chances are, if you give somebody directions, it's, unless you verified it, it probably didn't happen the way you intended. So yeah, that's it. We'll show you guys what it looks like, but that's virtually it for this video. You'll hopefully in a couple of days we'll have this done, and you'll kind of get to see what the whole thing looks like. But it turned out awesome. I love the glass. I'm definitely happy with going this route, but it is a ton of work, a lot of work. I mean, we literally have 5 guys here, and all we've been doing all day is modifying stuff. If this would have just been the way that it's intended to go, we would have had all these windows completely installed, all the doors installed, and all the glass installed in probably one long day. So this cost us at least 2 full days of work extra with all of these guys. So now imagine you're not the person doing the work, or you need to hire somebody. That's whatever the labor cost was, multiply that by 3, all because one little mistake, it can cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. So in this case, it still cost me, even running all the work, if you add up all the labor, it probably cost me an extra $1,500 in labor of random guys. And it cost me almost $2,000 in ordering a complete new door. Luckily, we're going to use that door on a different build, and we'll repurpose it for something, so it's not a total waste for us. But if this was your one and only, you just bite the bullet, order a whole new door. So that's it. Learn from our mistakes. I got to find my dogs, who looks like they found something and they're chasing. What are you guys finding? Hey, come here. All right, that's it. Contain the luxury. Out. Come here, guys. What do you have?